Call the city council meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Alderman Cole,
Here.
Alderman Police,
Here.
Alderman Knight,
Here.
Alderman Kadawa,
Here.
Alderman Shockey,
Here.
Alderman Winger, Alderman Wesley,
Here.
Alderman Luaton,
Here.
I'm here too. Here. Quorum being present, would you stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of November 15th, 2007?
Second.
Are any comments, corrections, additions? If not, all in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Bills, Alderman Wesley?
Like to entertain a motion to approve the bills $434,640.56.
For a second?
Second.
On the question? Alderman Police?
On page 3, fourth item from the bottom, if it's possible, I'd like to omit that $2,632. I guess we're going to get an explanation on that tonight.
Is there something can be answered now, or
Well, I
you
guess
want to
we're getting
defer
a-
it to other business?
I guess we're going to get something in executive session that'll explain it.
It's the,
Yes, we can defer on that at this point until after executive session.
Okay.
However, that means we have to recess.
So why don't you approve it subject to reopening after, if necessary?
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Bond?
If you'd like, what you could do is you could approve that, and then if your questions aren't answered to your satisfaction in executive session, if we recess to executive session, which appears as though we may, then you can simply just revisit that at the next meeting and seek a reconsideration on that portion of the bills payable.
Okay.
Who seconded the motion?
I second it.
Alderman Coles? Anything further on the question?
No.
Roll call.
Alderman Coles,
Yes.
Alderman Police,
Yes.
Alderman Knight,
Yes.
Alderman Kadawa,
Yes.
Alderman Shockey,
Yes.
Alderman Wesley,
Yes.
Alderman Luaton.
Yes.
Those items are approved. Do any citizens wish to address the city council this evening? If so, if you go to the podium and give us your name and address.
Mr. Mayor?
Alderman Weston.
I'm going to address the council as a citizen today. I received a couple phone calls regarding a article in the newspaper about Fenton High School in Bensonville requesting some money from the Fenton High School to give to Bensonville. As you know, a lot of our kids go to Fenton High School in our area. The person did bring up a suggestion that maybe the council should send a letter to the school boards saying how we feel about it, of not pursuing that may be going on down there. Because we did, if I ain't mistaken, Mr. Mayor, several of us went down Springfield and we lobbied for that money to get for Fenton High School, and it represents our town quite well in our area. And for that to go out on a ballot like they're going to do, I think it's only decent that we support the citizens in Wooddale and sending the school board a letter or their board saying how we feel, or send it to Giles too.
Rather than the city council officially taking a position advising another governmental body to do something, what I would encourage all citizens for that matter and the aldermen to do is contact the board members. I've already spoken to 2 or 3 of them. Apparently, they have a legal opinion that it would be illegal for them to transfer the money to the Bensonville Intergovernmental Group. And those trustees that I spoke to are opposed to any kind of transfer. But I would certainly encourage all the other aldermen and any citizens to express those point of views. Obviously, education money should be used to educate students. That's the appropriate use for that kind of money.
Thank you.
I do not have any written communiques under Mayor's report. Madam Clerk?
I would like to introduce my new deputy clerk to the council, Amanda Malone. And you just come up and say hi to each and every one of them. I know you know Amanda. She used to be our special events coordinator. You can start down here, my dear.
Used to be?
What?
What do you mean, used to be?
It used to be.
Oh, take it easy. What, am I gonna do it by myself? I'm still learning. Killing me. You guys are killing me.
No, she's in-house. She does need somebody in-house to take care of
Thank you, Amanda.
And I'd like to sure. And at this time, I'd like to recognize Alderman Coles.
I got a telephone call about the two signs on Whispering Oaks that they will put City of Wooddale on the signs. So that'll be done. Okay? They called me the other day and said that they would put Wooddale on the signs. Thank you.
Also under Mayor's report, I'm pleased to announce that DuPage County has received the permit for the Bussey Woods Dam modification. As you know, that lowers flood water in Wooddale by 8 inches, something to that nature. So it can go forward at this point as soon as they also get approval from the Cook County Board, which is anticipated. They have pledged that they would do that all along.
Sure.
I had the opportunity to speak before the Affordable Housing Seminar at Lisle University, Benedictine University in Lisle. My thanks to the Public Works guys on the snow removal that they did. And on a sadder note, one of our plan commissioners, Bert Cruciani, suffered a heart attack this morning, I believe it was, and is currently in intensive care. So our thoughts and our prayers go with Bert and his family. And also, the City of Wooddale mourns, obviously, the loss of our former Congressman, Henry Hyde. Henry did a great job for the citizens of Wooddale, whether it was responding to a citizen's individual concern regarding getting a Medicare payment made, or whether it was big issues like raising $11.4 million for the grade separation at Irving Park Road. That and projects over the years, over the last 30 years, his involvement in the buyout of homes on a voluntary basis along the creek that were subject to flooding, his involvement in the Bussey Woods Reservoir. I remember 10 years ago sitting at a meeting with him and other mayors talking about the dam modification at Bussey Woods Reservoir, a summit that he convened to help put pressure on getting that project approved. So I would ask that you join me, stand for a moment of silence for Henry Hyde. Thank you. And it is my understanding that to show Wooddale's concern that we will have a squad car participating in the funeral procession, and that Alderman Wesley and Alderman Shockey are going, and there may be room in their car if anyone, Alderman Lewiton is going as well. If anyone else wishes to attend the funeral tomorrow, please contact them. We'll make arrangements for your transportation. That brings us to the consent agenda. As there is only one item on there, may I have a motion to approve the resolution setting forth the schedule of regular meetings of the City Council and committees of the whole of the City Council. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll get back to it. Is there a second? Second. On the question? Roll call.
Alderman Coles,
Yes.
Alderman Police,
Yes.
Alderman Knight,
Yes.
Alderman Cadella,
Yes.
Alderman Shockey,
Yes.
Alderman Wesley,
Yes.
Alderman Lewiton.
Yes.
That passes Resolution R-07-26, and my apologies, I skipped over the manager's report. Mr. Manager?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have two items. On behalf of our citizens, I would like to thank Allied Waste for adding an extra week onto our leaf pickup this past Monday. of course, at no charge to the city or our residents. You also you may have seen the new designer waste containers. They're on the street now, and the rest will be delivered. So we're really happy about that. The other item is the city has received congratulations from the National Arbor Day Foundation for being named as the 2007, again, Tree City USA. This is the third year in a row, and thanks to the efforts of Jeff Murmis, our Assistant City Manager, and efforts of the city service personnel who did a fine job again for the third year in a row. Thank you. End of my report.
Any comments, questions? If not, that brings us committee chairman reports, planning, zoning, and building. Alderman Shockey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The owner of the Wooddale Sitco has requested a reduction in their letter of credit. Is this something we're going to be doing all the time now? Coming to us for a letter of credit reduction?
I think there was an attempt to put some committee work on the city council agenda, so weren't here till 3 a.m. in the morning next Thursday. So some of these items that we thought were uncontroversial got on the agenda for tonight. Mr. Noack?
Just for a quick reference, the letter of credit reductions have always come to council as a matter of procedure. And it's just that they happen so infrequently, oftentimes, so we forget that there is no specific process other than for having them come directly to council.
Okay. I'll look for a motion then to give the Wooddale Sitco a reduction in their letter of credit from amount of $16,250 down to $9,750. That's a $6,500 reduction. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Other question?
I have one question.
Alderman Wesley.
Roger, maybe you can help me out here. So why are we still holding credit for them? I mean, this building's been, if I'm mistaken, this one's been done for about 2 years now, 3 years.
No, not that long a period of time. But what they have now is we retain a 10% of dollar figure from their original letter of credit, which goes into their 2-year maintenance bond for the public improvements.
Oh,
We hold that for 24 months, and then it's finally released.
Thank you.
Anything further? Roll call.
Alderman Coles?
Yes.
Alderman Police?
Yes.
Alderman Knight?
Yes.
Alderman Kadawa?
Yes.
Alderman Shockey?
Yes.
Alderman Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Luaton?
Yes. Second item is an ordinance granting a rear yard variation and a lot coverage variation to allow for the proposed construction of an addition to an existing building at the property commonly known as 880 North Wooddale Road. The council orally approved these variances on October 25th and directed council to draft the requisite ordinance for same. So that's what this is. Do I have a motion?
Are you making a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second on the question? Roll call.
Alderman Coles?
Yes.
Alderman Police?
No.
Alderman Knight?
Yes.
Alderman Kadawa?
No.
Alderman Shockey?
Yes?
Alderman Wesley?
No.
Alderman Luaton?
Yes.
All right, that passes as ordinance O-07-41.
That's the end of my report, Mr. Mayor.
Public Health, Safety, and Judiciary, Alderman Coles.
No report?
Public Works, Alderman, thank you. Police.
No report.
Finance Administration, Alderman Wesley.
Mr. Mayor, I have a report on tax levy. I would turn this over to Maggie Powell to give us a brief overview of this. You should have received this in front of you tonight.
Thank you, Alderman Wesley. This will be very short and sweet, but as you know, the city of Wooddale is not a home rule community, which means the city of Wooddale is subject to the property tax cap. Essentially, that means that if Wooddale were to raise its tax levy more than 5%, it would have to go through several sets of hearings. It has to go back to the electorate for approval. Wooddale has not had to do that, fortunately. So what we ordinarily do is take last year's tax levy, multiply it by 4.99%, and come up with a proposed tax levy, which gets sent to the county. The county then determines the equalized assessed valuation of all of the property within the city of Wooddale. They take the amount of tax levy that we have requested, and they calculate the rate. Almost always, what we ask for and what they end up giving us is a little different, but it's usually less than $100,000 difference. There's no way to know. We don't know what the EAV is going to be. We can only estimate it. So I wanted to show you just a little bit about what the tax rates have been like. If you go back to 2002, the city of Wooddale's tax rate was 0.5079. Now that is per $100 assessed valuation, equalized assessed valuation. That's not $50, that's 50 cents on every $100. And it's gone down to 0.336 or 366 last year. And if the equalized assessed valuation increases by about 7.5%, that's my estimate, the rate Wooddale residents will pay for the city of Wooddale levy will be 0.3574. So this is good news. One of the reasons, though, why this is such a steep jump is because back in those earlier years, you did have general obligation bonded debt, which became part of the tax levy. This is a picture of the equalized assessed valuation. You look at the very bottom of the chart, you'll see back in 2002, the property in the city of Wooddale was valued at $471 million. And in 2007, we're talking about $703 million. So that's a fairly substantial increase. Essentially, the way that works is when you levy your taxes, the rate goes down as the EAV goes up. And so in this case, I think probably we would have the biggest difference between last year and this year, and then one more year when we have these other residential developments and commercial developments completed. Pretty much then it should level out. But that gives you a kind of a picture of how much it's changed in just 6 years. And I don't know why this isn't advancing. Okay. These are the actual dollars that were levied in those years. Where you see the dip in 2004 and 2005, the 02, 03, and 04 all had general obligation bonded debt levies attached to them. And then in 2005 and 6 and what we're proposing for 2007, there are no general obligation bonds included in this. We are levying strictly on the corporate fund on a line item called audit, a line item called Social Security, one for liability insurance, one for the IMRF, and one for police pension. Yes.
Nuzio has a question for you.
When you talk about these government, what is that, the GO bond or the GO
Yes.
bond? Is that what you're talking about? When
Right.
we owe
General
money
obli-
for something?
A general obligation bond. But the way it works is like this. Let's say 20 years ago, the city of Wooddale passed a $10 million bond issue. The day those bonds were passed and filed with the county, the city would not have to do another thing, and that tax would automatically be levied and extended. That's up to the clerk's office. So sometimes people would forget that and think, oh, we don't have to worry about that, or we do, and we forgot. It doesn't matter. Once those bonds are done, that tax is going to be levied. But when residents are trying to see what's happening with different governing bodies, what's happening with the property tax rate, it's pretty important to show them if there was debt involved or not. Because that rate that I showed you of 0.506, whatever it was, was pretty steep, but it was paying off a whole bunch of general obligation bonds.
Can I ask one more I'm sorry. So basically, if we're gonna do some big project and we go with this gold bond, that means, everybody's rate's gonna jump again?
Yes.
Is that what would happen?
Yes, and the extent that it would jump would depend on how much you're borrowing, obviously what interest rate the bonds were issued at, and finally, what the city's equalized assessed valuation is at the time all this takes place.
Okay.
So there's some variables there.
Thank you.
Sorry. But anyway, the odds are very, very good that Wooddale's tax rate will go down for the 2007 levy. I mean, it's just, it has to be because the EAV is going up. This is all I have on this particular thing, but before I close my comments on the tax levy, I wanted to mention that the Police Pension Board has communicated with the City of Wooddale, and they are making a request for funding of their police pension plan. They would like a total contribution of $488,770. If you look at that material that was handed out to you in your packet, you'll see that we are levying some monies for the police pension fund, but for the last at least 4 years, if not longer, the city has always made sure to fund the entire request from the Police Pension Board. And the reason why this is so important is because when the pension boards were started, people had already incurred lots of years of service, and these are defined benefit plans. So in essence, there was already a liability owed to them whether or not the cities had put any money at all aside for their pensions. So what we're trying to fund here is their past service cost as well as the current service cost. And we're being allowed, all the communities are being allowed to do it over a period of 30 years. But the sooner it's done and the sooner the money is invested, the better off the pension funds will be. So the City of Wooddale's pension fund is in good shape. It's been very, very properly managed in terms of investments by professional investment managers. But the city needs to do its part with the levy. And also the residents need to see on their tax bill what part of their tax bill is actually going to pay pensions. And you probably remember from your own bill, you'll see a line that says IMRF. That's for most of Wooddale's employees. You'll see another one that says police pension. That's for our police officers. And you may see it again for school districts or park districts. But that's why this is important. The old days when people used to accrue something on the books and then never pay it aren't allowed to happen anymore. You do need to fund these plans. And so when we get into the budget for the next fiscal year, we will also be budgeting for the difference between what we are levying and what they've asked for. And I won't know until March what we're actually levying, because it takes that long for the county to tell us what our EAV is and tell us what our tax extension is. But just to keep that in mind, that we always have two components for police pension.
Any other questions on that? Mr. Mayor?
No, I was just wondering if you were taking over the meeting.
No, I'm sorry, Mayor.
That's okay. I do have a question on a slightly different subject, came up with mayors and managers this morning. Do we have a local amusement tax?
No.
I didn't think we did. This came up in the context of you can tax the video rental, such as the Blockbuster. Could we also tax like the Golf Dome, the use of that facility, and the 2 golf courses for the use of those services?
I thought both of those were reserved for home rule communities, but I'd have to check. I thought non-home rule couldn't do it.
Mr. Bond?
There are certain amusement taxes that you can impose as a non-home rule community. The balance of them are reserved to home rule communities. The golf, I'd have to check. The video, I believe you can under your non-home rule taxing authority. You can impose those. We do not have one here in Wooddale, however.
I was advised that was something Roselle's been doing for about the last 8 years, so it may be a future revenue source for us. Mr. Manager?
For the last 3 years, you have received a copy of the revenue survey from the DuPage Mayor and Managers, and we just received a copy, and you'll be getting the presentation on that. It goes into all the levied taxes that we can get, and as a result of getting that survey over the last 2 to 3 years, we've been increasing our rates, and we will certainly look at that, and that is going to be available very shortly. I've already discussed it with the finance director.
Alderman Wesley, I'll ask you to add that to a future agenda item.
Sure, Mr. Mayor.
Annual tax abatement, are you doing a presentation on that as well, Maggie?
Just to explain it, Special Service Area 11, which was originally issued for $150,000 worth of bonds, ended up with some excess funds that were not spent at the time of the construction project, which I believe was landscaping somewhere on Wooddale Road. So for the past several years, the city council has abated part of that tax levy. Remember I said, as soon as you issue a bond, the tax gets extended automatically by the county with no further action by the city. That's why the city has to take this action. We have to abate. If we don't abate, they extend the full tax. So this year you have an abatement ordinance in front of you for $5,000. So that we don't levy more than is required to pay the bond principal and interest on the Special Service Area 11 bonds. And I think those go through 2010, the year 2010.
Any questions? Thank you, Maggie. Does that conclude your report, Alderman Wesley?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, but do we have to react on this ordinance to adopt it now or no?
Yes, it's under other business, I believe.
Okay, I have nothing else for my report.
Thank you, sir. Community Economic Development, Alderman Lewitton.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to say that we have no report for tonight, but I forgot last session under the committee to give a thanks to Eric Heber of Starbucks at 102 East Irving Park Road in Itasca for providing free coffee for the ward meeting that Alderman Wesley was hosting last month. So I just want to give a thank you to the donation. So we have no report for the Economic Committee at this time.
That brings us to other business. May I have a motion to approve an ordinance amending the municipal code of the city of Wooddale by the adoption of Article 3, Chapter 16, Cable and Video to establish standards for construction of facilities on the public right-of-way. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second,
On the question? Roll call.
Alderman Cole?
yes.
Alderman Police?
Yes.
Alderman Knight?
Yes.
Alderman Cadella?
Yes.
Alderman Shockey?
No.
Alderman Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Lewitton?
Yes.
That passes ordinance O-07-42. Brings to item B, may I have a motion to approve an ordinance authorizing the levy and collection of taxes for the corporate and municipal purposes of the city of Wooddale?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second,
On the question? Alderman, please.
Can you explain what this one is, please? I'm not quite sure. What are we taxing?
Ms. Powers?
Just,
Alderman, please, are you referring to the ordinance
right.
for the levy? Okay, this is passing the tax levy. We need to pass it, and we need to get it filed with the county clerk before the end of 2007.
For real estate taxes?
Yes. Same
It's not,
taxes.
it's not an automatic.
No,
Every,
no, in fact, if we forget and we don't file it,
Don't get it.
we don't get
We don't-
anything.
Right.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Anything further? Roll call.
Alderman Cole?
yes.
Alderman Police?
Yes.
Alderman Knight?
Yes.
Alderman Cadella?
Yes.
Alderman Shockey?
Yes.
Alderman Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Lewitton?
Yes.
That passes ordinance O-07-43. May I have a motion to approve an ordinance abating uncollected taxes for year 2007 for Special Service Area 11?
So moved.
Second. Second? Who was the second? Alderman Coles? On the question? Roll call.
Alderman Coles?
Yes?
Alderman Police?
Yes.
Alderman Knight?
Yes.
Alderman Cadella?
Yes.
Alderman Shockey?
Yes.
Alderman Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Lewiton?
Yes.
That passes ordinance O-07-44. May I have a motion to approve an ordinance amending Chapter 5, Article 3, Section 5305, the municipal code of the city of Wooddale, setting the number of liquor licenses.
So moved.
Seconded.
On the question?
Question?
This is, for your information, changing White Hen wants to drop hard alcohol and do beer and wine only. And this would be for the addition of the previously approved Wine Chicago shop out of the industrial park that sells wine to people throughout the entire United States. Alderman Coles.
One question. I looked at this license. I thought we had a license about the catering in here. I don't see it. I thought that was a C-A or AC
I don't think, was that approved?
catering.
I believe that failed and was not approved.
Oh, it was failed?
Yes,
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
no problem. Was there a question? Alderman Wesley?
Mr. Mayor, is this the final, these are all the licenses that are out there now? So
Mr.
next
Bond?
month, we aren't going to have another one that's going to come up. I mean, is there a set limit that we are having licenses now, or are we going, whoever wants a liquor license?
Mr. Bond?
Yeah, this is unusual in that the liquor commissioner, in your instance, is the mayor. The mayor has the authority to issue the liquor license to appropriate applicants who've cleared background check and are qualified. You, as a city council, established a number of licenses available. And it's kind of a unique situation. The way that it works is you always have the number of licenses that you have requests for. So that way, there's not a license sitting out there available. If there were, anybody could come into town, and if they were a business that otherwise qualified under your code, you'd automatically have to issue them a license. By restricting the number of licenses that you have authorized, that puts a control in the hands of both the council and the mayor as liquor commissioner as to really restricting who is entitled to receive a liquor license. So whenever you increase or decrease, you revise this section. So you see this periodically. If there's a new business that comes in town and you've agreed that you're going to allow them a liquor license, you as a council have to authorize that. The mayor then would issue that liquor license. So anytime you make a change, the number of licenses in that category or classification would change. You don't do it that often. It happens maybe once every couple of years, perhaps.
So every time we add a liquor license, we have to adopt another ordinance?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
So that way you're saying these are all of the licenses that we in the city of Wooddale have for various types of liquor sales.
Alderman, please.
What about, didn't we have TG, the Top Golf license?